Dr. Gregg, the next 10 minutes are yours to address this proposition that the Electoral College should be abolished or amended.
I think Professor Loomis was ceding me the point, obvious by his last comment on the importance of the rule of law. I don't know what he has a problem with antelopes. That troubles me. But I'm going to skip it for now and hope there's some antelope lovers in the audience to be with me on this. Let me go to that. There's so much I want to react to in that, but let me just react to one, his last point, and then I'll give you my remarks that I prepared for this section, and then we'll fight it out on the other things, I guess, as the night goes on. About this the question of exaggerating the size of presidential victories. Here's some numbers for you. He said it was problematic. Here's some numbers. Ronald Reagan in 1980. Ronald Reagan won 50.7% of the vote. If you remember that was a landslide election, right? It was a landslide. Well, popular vote, he won 50.7%. But he won 90% of the Electoral College. Almost every election, the Electoral College, except in 2000 and a couple of other times in history, doesn't go against the popular vote. It enhances the popular vote nationally. It strengthens it. Bill Clinton in 1992. Bill Clinton got 43% of the vote. 43%, which means, 57% of the American people voted against Bill Clinton. And yet he won 70% of the Electoral College vote. Did it enhance his legitimacy? I think it did. Now, let me go to my remarks here. The question is, should the Electoral College be kept as is, amended, or abolished? My answer is profoundly not abolished, perhaps amended, and we could talk about that. We'll probably find some agreement on some points on that. Most likely, however, I think it should be kept as is. Here's my signposts to understand my argument. On the one side, and you have to pull the argument through it if you're going to change this thing. On the one side is, I think, the tried and true argument: if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Don't muck it up. Number one. On the other side, you have to go to this. He exceeds the point and tries to get away from it. You have to go with the basic question: is it going to give us better presidents? I'm going to be really mean right now, but frankly, at the end of the day, if you can't tell me the new system's going to give us better presidents, I don't care so much how you feel about it. I want better presidents. I want good presidents. So if you can't walk it down those two paths, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, or between those two pillars, and is it going to give us better presidents, then I'm against it, whatever that reform is. Let me leave the questions of alteration to later. I'm sure it'll come up in Q&A. But I want to deal with the people that really want to abolish it, and Dr. Loomis seems to be close to at least to that side. Dr. Loomis and I have both polled the experts on this. I did a survey asking political scientists and historians what roles does the Electoral College play, what should we do with it. Dr. Loomis has done the same thing. And I commend you, Dr. Loomis's book is out for sale out there, and they come to pretty good conclusions. Dr. Loomis, I don't think, read his book, but I'm just kidding. It's a nuanced argument. In both sides, we polled political scientists that came out and scholars on both of ours that came out in defense of the Electoral College and understanding it is a pretty important institution. Let me focus on one of the things that I think the Electoral College has done for the American political system, and its abolition would undermine. And that is, and I know he has done some study on this too, so he's going to be able to really take me to task on this, but I still think it's right. The Electoral College has supported, has strengthened, has undergirded our two-party system, and I think that's a good thing. Senator Daniel Patrick Moynihan in the 1970s, the great senator from New York who was replaced by Hillary Clinton in 2000. The great senator from New York, Daniel Patrick Moynihan, maybe the smartest guy who's been in the Senate since Henry Clay maybe or something, when this was a really hot issue in the 1970s, he did a study, a comparative government study. He went around the world and he said, let me find a constitutional system, a political system that is more stable than America's. And he found one, and that is the medieval constitution of Iceland. His second question was, well, if ours is so wonderfully stable, and I think that's a good thing, and Daniel Patrick Moynihan, Democrat from New York, thinks it's a good thing, what is the reason for it? Is it the Bill of Rights? The answer is no. Is it judicial review? We celebrate. Is it separation of powers? Is it federalism? He says it's none of that. He says at the end of the day, it's the Electoral College that has given us this stability. Bizarre argument, I know. But here's his reasoning for it. And the essay that I'll plug myself now, I have a book out there too called Securing Democracy, Why We Have the Electoral College. And I've republished his essay in that, slightly amended after 2000. But he argues, look, politics is about conflict. Politics is about conflict, it's about arguments, and it's about channeling conflict into constructive, good avenues. So we can have our fights, but we're not going to kill each other over it. We're going to come to some moderate compromise of some sort. And that's what basic politics is about. And our political system has been really successful and stable because all our fights are moderated through two broad, moderate political parties. You defenders of third parties out there are going to hate what I have to say right now, because you're as frustrated as I am by the two-party system, which frustrates the heck out of me sometimes. Dr. Loomis isn't frustrated because he's a moderate Democrat, you said, right? Yeah, moderate Democrat? So he's okay. He's not frustrated. I'm frustrated, but I still like it. He's frustrated and he's going to undermine it, so I don't know. Oh, he's not frustrated, rather. He's also not bitter, right? Here's how the Electoral College supports the two-party system. It may have created really fundamentally the two-party, or really enhanced it right in the very beginning with the 12th Amendment, which you should talk about, but I'll throw that out. It does it in this way. One is the winner-take-all in states, which Dr. Loomis has argued against. It's called the unit rule, and I will argue in favor of. The beauty of the winner-take-all in states is that it depresses third-party vote. It's true. Sorry, but it is true, and it's good. Because rather than, people don't want to throw away their votes. They don't want to throw away their votes on a more radical platform that does not have a chance. But those ideas throughout American history have bubbled up into the two-party system, been moderated, been amended, been changed, and been entered our political system in a stable way. Secondly is the constitutional requirement to receive an absolute majority of the Electoral College, 270 votes. Third parties don't get anywhere in American political system, if you just think about it, because you have to get a majority. How could a third party enter a system and hope one of those three are going to get a majority? They don't. And so this supports, again, the two-party system. And I know I sound awfully mean-spirited right now, but just think of the beauty of this, of what we have, and Moynihan argued in the United States, it's not a naturally two-party system. That's been artificially created by our constitutional system and some very early things that happened. We don't naturally have a two-party system. We have a four-party system. Now think about the primaries right now. Tell me you don't think this is true. We have a very conservative Republican Party. We have a very moderate Republican Party. Maybe Romney over here, and McCain, maybe, okay? Over on the other side, we have a more liberal Democratic Party, Barack Obama. We have a more moderate Democratic Party, Hillary Clinton. That's our natural political system. But you see, all four can't win. And so they naturally gravitate and moderate and balance each other into two broad political parties. I look like Spock or something there, right? You know, that live long and prosper, the Electoral College. And so that is our natural system. If you throw out the Electoral College, what you have to do is you have to deal with the fact that in the near future, we're going to break down to our natural instincts. And the people that were naturally for Romney, more conservatives, are going to tell McCain what they really think about him. And they're going to split. Now, we're going to have four running for president. Now, how low are you willing to go? How low are you willing to go? Are you willing to allow a president in a four-way race to become president at 40%? 30%? I don't know, 35%? How low are you willing to go? How much time, how much power are the third parties going to get in that? And I have no power because I'm out of time. Sorry.